Welcome to Netrush Report, your home for tennis drama, rivalries, and raw emotion on and off the court. If you live for shocking twists, unforgettable comebacks, and bold commentary, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a moment. The announcement of the upcoming Battle of the Sexes, set to feature Nick Kyrgios against Aryna Sabalenka, has sent shockwaves through the tennis world. On one side, we have Kyrgios, a player known as much for his flamboyant antics and brutally honest interviews as for his massive talent. On the other, Sabalenka, the reigning WTA world number one, a powerhouse who thrives under pressure and has been dominating the biggest stages in women's tennis. And when Alexander Bublik joked to Kyrgios that Sabalenka might actually beat him, Kyrgios didn't hesitate. He fired back with supreme confidence. Aryna Sabalenka isn't going to beat me. Let's break this down. Because this is not just about one exhibition match. This is about legacies, reputations, pride, and the very question of gender dynamics in tennis. Nick Kyrgios. The wild card of tennis. Nick Kyrgios has always been a figure you can't ignore. Whether he's dismantling legends like Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic on a good day, or self-destructing in a flurry of broken rackets and arguments with umpires on a bad one, Kyrgios represents chaos in motion. But what's his status right now? The last 2 years have been brutal. 2023 and 2024 were marred by injuries, surgeries, and withdrawals. Hopes of a strong comeback in 2025 fizzled after early exits in Brisbane, the Australian Open, and Indian Wells. Even when he managed a win in Miami, he was bageled by Karen Khachanov the very next round. Since then, silence. Withdrawals from Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and most recently the US Open. Kyrgios is a man whose body is betraying his ambition. And yet, when he speaks, the confidence never wavers. Why? Because he knows what he's capable of when fully fit. Remember Wimbledon 2022? Kyrgios marched all the way to the final, pushing Novak Djokovic harder than almost anyone expected. That version of Kyrgios, the unplayable serve, the trick shots, the swagger, could beat anyone. The problem? We haven't seen that version consistently. So when he says Sabalenka isn't going to beat me, is he speaking as 2022 Kyrgios or 2025 Kyrgios? Aryna Sabalenka, the fearless world number one. Now, let's talk about Aryna Sabalenka. Unlike Kyrgios, she's not battling injuries or inconsistency. She's at the very peak of her powers. A 3-time Grand Slam singles champion, defending US Open champion, and a player who thrives on the big stage. Sabalenka's game is built on raw power. Her serve is one of the most feared in the women's game. Her forehand, a hammer. Her intensity, relentless. At the 2025 US Open, she hasn't dropped a set heading into the quarterfinals. She is, quite simply, unstoppable right now. Here's the tricky part. Men's tennis and women's tennis, though played on the same stage, have different dynamics. Kyrgios' serve is statistically one of the best on the ATP Tour. Even at 60 to 70% fitness, he can ace his way through service games. Sabalenka's return, while fierce against WTA opponents, would be tested like never before against a man serving at 140 mph, but don't underestimate her. Sabalenka's mental toughness has grown massively in the past 3 years. She's no longer the player who would crumble in tight moments. If Kyrgios loses focus, if he lets frustration boil over, Sabalenka could absolutely make him pay. This isn't the first time tennis has staged a battle of the sexes. The most famous came in 1973, when Billie Jean King defeated Bobby Riggs in straight sets, a victory that transcended tennis and became a landmark moment in the women's rights movement. But let's be clear, Kyrgios versus Sabalenka is different. This isn't about proving women can beat men. This is about entertainment, ego, and bragging rights. Kyrgios knows this. Sabalenka knows this. The fans know this. But don't think for a second that either player will treat it like an exhibition. For Kyrgios, it's a chance to show he's still relevant, still dangerous, still capable of commanding the spotlight. For Sabalenka, it's a chance to prove that the gap between the tours isn't as wide as people think, and to silence anyone who doubts her power. When Kyrgios' comments surfaced online, the reactions were immediate and explosive. On one side, fans applauded his bravado. That's Nick being Nick. He thrives on the spotlight. Of course he'd back himself. Others pointed to his dwindling fitness. How can he be so confident when he can't even get past the first round of tournaments anymore? Meanwhile, Sabalenka's fans were fired up. Many believe she could shock Kyrgios, especially given his lack of match practice. Social media was flooded with debates, predictions, and even memes mocking Kyrgios' arrogance. One viral post read, "Nick says Sabalenka won't beat him, but he couldn't even beat Mpetshi Perricard in Brisbane." Former pros and analysts have also weighed in. Some argue that even an undercooked Kyrgios has too much firepower for Sabalenka to handle. Others believe Sabalenka's form, combined with Kyrgios' rustiness, could lead to a shocking upset. Rennie Stubbs, former doubles world #1 and commentator, put it simply, "If Kyrgios plays at 80%, he wins. If he plays at 50% and Sabalenka plays at 100%, then it's a match." The stakes beyond the court for Kyrgios. This is more than just a match. It's about identity. His career has been defined by flashes of brilliance and long stretches of absence. If he loses to Sabalenka, the headlines will be merciless. For someone who thrives on reputation and aura, that could be devastating. For Sabalenka, a victory would be iconic. It wouldn't just be about beating Kyrgios. It would be about making a statement for women's tennis. About proving that power, grit, and consistency can close the gap. That, let's not forget, Kyrgios is a master of mind games. Trash talk, antics, body language, he uses it all. Against Sabalenka, expect plenty of that. But here's the twist. Sabalenka is no stranger to intensity. She won't be rattled easily. In fact, she might even thrive on it. The Battle of the Sexes in Hong Kong is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated exhibition matches in years. And while the outcome is impossible to predict, one thing is certain: it will draw massive attention. Because when you mix Kyrgios' unpredictability with Sabalenka's power, you get pure box office drama. So, what do you think? Is Nick Kyrgios right to be so confident? Or is Aryna Sabalenka about to shock the tennis world and shut him up once and for all? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more breaking tennis drama, rivalries, and raw emotion, don't forget to subscribe to Netrush Report. Because here, the story is never just about the score. It's about the fire, the fight, and the fallout. Until next time, stay tuned and get ready for the clash we never thought we'd see.